Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Solomon Simon, one of the featherweights from Cage Warriors. Hello, Solomon. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Solomon, you in your last fight, I think that it was a great performance because you fought against undefeated fighter. You defended 100 takedown attempts, and you earn your victory by late submissions. So, if I can ask you, how do you feel about this performance, and what should be next for you after this?
Performance, I was happy with it, and like there's time. I felt like, but he's very good. I'm not gonna like. I think that's part of it as well. Because in my end, I felt like I didn't get to show a little. I wanted to show a bit more on the feet, even or whatnot. But he was really good. Like he was relentless with the takedowns. Like he really wanted to get the fight to where his strength is at, which obviously makes sense. That's what he's good at. And like I've what from watching his previous fights, is very solid on the ground. So obviously, I didn't want to be there really in the sense of like I didn't want him in a dominant position on the ground. If it goes to the ground, I wanted it to be on my terms rather than him deciding that. So like overall, I was happy with the performance. I think there are things I could adjust on, which I'll be working on over the next while anyway. And yeah, like with the finish as well, I'm glad I got the finish, especially getting it as a submission because he's more of the submission artist himself. So like getting that finish on that sort of makes me and shows that okay, maybe I'm not just limited in one sphere. And that's what I would like to say to myself. I'm very well rounded and I'm trying to constantly get more well rounded as the experience goes up. And future wise, not too sure. Just gonna wait for the Cage Warriors schedule to come out, and then I'll start making the plans for what I'll be doing next year.
And in the perfect world, when would you like to fight next?
Early next year, ideally. If we go February, March, February, March would be good. I could get the first one around then, and I would like to at least get like 3 or 4 fights next year. Like three would be good. Four would be like three would be should be very possible, and four would be should put me right where I need to be in regards like if I want to look at titles or whatever it is. But that's what I'm looking at early next year, February, March.
And do you have a fighter in mind that you would like to face, or is doesn't matter for you and you will fight against anyone?
Yeah, don't really have a name. Don't have well because the featherweight division is like extremely solid. Like there's anyone in there will put up a good test, and anyone in there would level me to the next stage I want to do. So what I'm looking for, I'm just like trying to move up. I'm trying to get closer and closer to that belt. And like there's so many people that deserves that belt. There's so many people that are working towards that themselves. So I have to prove myself through that. So whoever like Ian and Graham thinks is next, I'll take them on. And then as long as it's getting me closer to where I need to go, I don't really care.
You have three professional fights, but you actually much more experienced than that because according to Topology, you have 18 amateur bouts. So was it a plan to fight as long as you did in amateur bouts, or it just happened like that?
Yeah, that I wanted to get experience. It's like the I did a few boxing as well, and then I did a few kickboxing fights as well in between, like 11 or 12 kickboxing fight, maybe like six boxing fights, and then the 18 amateur fights as well. And all I was trying to do in that period is just get more comfortable in the ring. Because there's a big difference between fighting and training. Like when I'm in the gym, and when you're comfortable like you look good, you feel good. I look, I'm like whatever. But once you get into the cage, like the nerves, the pressure, the atmosphere, even the lights in the cage itself, like you don't see your opponent the same way you would in the gym. Your focus is a bit different. All of that takes experience to get. And that's what I was trying to do in the amateur side. I was just trying to get more and more comfortable in there, get comfortable with the walkout, get comfortable with stepping into the cage, get comfortable with the glove touch. Little things that might seem so insignificant, but they make a massive difference the higher the level you go. And I feel like right now I'm fairly comfortable in there. And like my first fight with Cage was in the arena and stuff like that. I just felt like this is just normal. This is just another fight. And like all of that is through the experience I've had before. So yeah, like it was intentional in regards to I wanted that experience. I wanted to get as much as I could, and whenever I feel comfortable, I jump in there.
And you actually fought against many great fighters as the amateur. So I think that because of this experience, you saw many styles. So you will be not afraid of taking like a very good grappler, very good striker, because you have more than 20 bouts actually.
Yes, for sure. That's exactly it. Like I've seen most, obviously the level and the danger is a little bit more on the pro side, but the general, like the theme of what someone's trying to do, someone's trying to strike with me. I've seen people that tries to do that. Someone is trying to grapple with me. I've seen people that try to do that. Someone wants to wrestle. Whatever it is that you want to do, I've seen that before now. So it's not completely new to me, and I have a rough idea what I need to do. Obviously, every fighter is unique in his own way. Like no matter even if he has a similar style, he has his own twang to it. He has his own style of doing it. But overall, I have the experience there to deal with it, and I'm confident that when I'm in there, I'll be able to adjust enough to make the right decisions.
And actually, as the amateur, you won most your fights by decision, and as the pro, there are three wins, three finishes. So I think that also it shows that you feel more comfortable as the fighter.
Facts, facts. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, and even I had a good few losses on the amateur side, and it's most of them were like, oh, split decision here, split decision here. Like, I got finished once with like Dara Kelly, which was like another thought process of like, okay, I need to adjust little things. I need to adjust this. I need to like make little changes there. But all of it, the amateur guys, the amateur times, it developed me a lot and it made me see different things. Like when I'm saying the losses and the split decision side, I'm like, okay, I need to actually push for the finish. But at the same time, I don't want to over push and gas myself out at the same time. So finding that balance was difficult, but the experience like made me do that. And I feel very good now. Now I'm like, I don't have to chase the finish, but I'm going for the finish all the time. And that makes the finish come. And the fact that I have more time to work, it's so much more, it suits me a lot better. Because 3 minutes in the amateur side of things is like once I'm getting comfortable in there, that's when the fight is over. So like even my first fight, the finish was in the third round. Second one, I think was late in the second round, and this one it was like 10 seconds left in the fight. Like once I get comfortable in there and I've like warmed up to everything and I see whatever it is, like you're in for a long night. Like then after that, so like happy with it. I think I've developed a lot for sure.
Yes, and I think that it's cool to see like the third round finishes because it's actually quite rarely happen. It's usually in MMA like first round, sometimes second round, and if there is a third round, is usually mean a decision. And here you are like 10 seconds before the final bell, you are able to win against very good fighter.
For sure. Yeah, nah, you have to keep trying. Like it's not over till the bell rings, isn't it? So like I will just keep pushing whatever opportunities, giving whatever openings he gives me. I'm gonna try to take him out.
And how did your journey with MMA or overall combat sports happen?
So like I started like my brother, Sam Simon, like he was the like he started him and my cousins started back then, like years ago. And at that time period I was still playing soccer and things. So but he would come home and just like be trying out different moves on me and things and like okay, I was like say I'm gonna sign. I just went to the gym once really and like started training. And I told the coach at the time that like how quickly did my brother have a fight? I think he did it in like 6 months. I was like, I'm gonna do it in 3 months. I didn't do it that quickly, but like it was just more of like that competition, trying to like the whole big brother thing. So that's when I started. He got me into it at that time. Went to college, kept doing MMA in college, and then came back to Waterford then and started the whole MMA journey fight wise, which is in 2018. And then through that, like you said, a lot of experience, like went to the Worlds, Europeans, like did the four nations, like just did a lot of competition and tried to get as much experience in different places around the world as well. So, and after that, I felt like COVID was annoying because that was like 2 years where I would have liked to maybe turn pro a bit earlier, but that 2 years slowed things down a bit. But it doesn't really matter. Everything happens for a reason. So we're here now. Turn pro earlier this year, and 3-0 so far.
And what is a main gym that you are training right now?
Team Ryano. So we have Team Ryano Waterford, where I started the MMA side of things in regards to like competing. Like I also trained in compound in Dublin earlier on when I was in Dublin in college and things like that. Like we had a MMA gym as part of the college. So I was training there for a while. But when I moved back to Waterford, Team Ryano Waterford was like where I started like competing and different things like that. And then we have Team Ryano in Dublin, which is Team Ryano, the headquarters. And that's where I would be spending a lot of time, like, because that's where the pros are at and things like that. So I'll get a lot of experience and hard rounds over there and then get punished when I go back to Waterford with my coaches back there as well, just so I'm getting the best of both worlds. So Tim Rhino really is the umbrella. So my team is Tim Rhino.
And do you have like sparring partners, a young prospect, either pro fighter or amateur fighter that we as defense can like hear about in few years?
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm sure, like right now we have like James Shane and Adam Shelley, Adam Shelley, Adam Darby in what's it called in Tim Rhino, like, and they're doing really well there now. Jer Harris fought on the last card as well, like, and that those would be the pros at the moment. And if we're looking at the amateur side of things, you have Lewis Byrne that's gonna be coming through. You have Paddy, and like there's a quite a few up and comers coming in through from the gym. And I say next year we'll see like a lot more like to show. And then if I'm looking at the Waterford side of things, like I have like Kevin Keogh, my brother Sam Simon. We have little Ninja. Well, he's not little anymore. He's like Owen Hennessy. Ninja, we call him. He's just been training for so long, and like you could see the development so far. And he's only gonna be starting his amateur journey really now. But he's had a good few experience already. Like that's what scares me about the kids. Like he started when he was like probably 13 or something, and like they just so good, so much experience. So there's a lot of people there with Xavier as well, Dave. Like I could just keep naming a few people, but like there's a solid team that's coming up, and then they're obviously pushing me as well. So from between Dublin and Waterford, we have a lot of fighters coming up.
And actually, like there are many fighters from Ireland in like Cage Warriors or previously in Bellator, so it shows how the sport grown in Ireland.
For sure, like the level is crazy. Like on Ireland, we do crazy well, especially when we're done looking at the IMAF tournaments and things. Like the Irish team really like pulls out all the stops. Like we perform really well. Then when we did the Bahrain, I think we came second in that. They can't remember what the tournament was, but it was among the good of the whole country. And like the team like for a small country in comparison to everywhere else, like the talent that's coming out of it is like quite scary, which is good because like that's what brings the whole country up together then.
And right now, what is your favorite part of the training and the part that you don't like the most?
So the favorite part, like I enjoy learning something new. Like that's what, like when I'm like when the coach says something and I'm like, or even it might be something I've heard before or whatever, but like they explain it in different, and I'm like, oh, like when I'm getting like new knowledge, new technique, new perspective, or new philosophy on how to do things, that like makes me happy. That makes me want to keep training because I'm like, okay, I'm developing, I'm getting better and whatnot. So like that's the that'll be the enjoyment part when you're actually learning and things. The the part that's a bit annoying is like when you're in camp and like you're getting punished. Like as in you have like if it's a Shark Tank, you're in there for like 5 minutes and then you have fresh, very solid bodies coming at you, just trying to take your head off every minute. Like they're just switching up on you, and then you have rounds and rounds of that. Those are tough rounds, and but that's where we build the brain. That's where we build the mindset. That's where we build the toughness. And like even though it's annoying at the time, when I've completed it, I'm like, I did that. That's an extra callous in my mind in the sense of like, okay, I can do that, and it's good. So it's something I would say it's I wouldn't say I dislike it necessarily, but it is tough. That's what I would say. Like it's not like, oh, it's enjoyable. I enjoy the pain. I'm like I'm not gonna. And everyone that says that, I think they're chatting shit as well. Like because it's definitely very uncomfortable, but like I'm accepting the uncomfortability of it and just like going through the pain, going through the training, and be like, okay, this is what makes me better. So yeah, that would be that.
But the like tough rounds for you is the reason why you are so good right now. So it's like it's fruits of the tough rounds. behind you.
For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. Yes, that's what it is. Like you have to be in the fire, and then when you get into the fight, you make the fight a lot easier then.
And for you, is it the UFC like main goal, the main promotion that you would like to go to, or would you also like consider other options like maybe Bellator, PFL, maybe one?
Yeah, their vision is the UFC. Like that's why like I chose the Cage Warriors path as well in regards to like there was other promotions, there was other options out there, but I knew like getting through the Cage Warrior roster, like especially that featherweight division, like I would cement myself as like one of the best featherweights in Europe. Like, and once I have that in my back end, like the next step is then to test myself as being one of the best featherweight in the world. And that's the vision. Like the UFC is where I could do that. Like, and that's where I want to get to. Get the belt in Cage Warriors and then move on to the UFC and then chase the belt in that division, in that promotion as well. Like that's the long-term vision. That's where my plan is at. That's where my eyes are set. And I'm just gonna take one step at a time along that journey, embrace every part of the journey, whatever happens along the way, I'm just gonna accept it and then try get to where I want to get to. But that is the direction. That's where I want to go. Whatever happens along the way, I'll accept it that way.
And when do you think it's possible for you to go to the to the UFC? Is it next year or maybe year after?
I'll say at least it'll still be a couple of years because, like again, like I said, I've only really started with this would be the first year as a pro. Like I was saying, in the next year to year and a couple of months, I'm open, like expecting to get that belt, the Cage Warriors belt. Once I've gotten that, then I can start looking at the UFC. And then, but for now, that's the vision, that Cage Warriors belt. Like, cause that's a tough challenge, and like that's why I'm eager to try complete that. That's one of the checklists. I'm like, okay, get through all those featherweights because like they're all fucking savages. Like so once I go through all of them, I'm like, yes, like I've done that. And then, okay, the next step, then we could start aiming for the UFC. So I'll still be looking at least a couple of years down the line. But like, it's every 10, like 2 years, 3 years, however long it is, it all starts now. So I'm on that journey now. So that's what I'm going on.
And Warriors belt is like one of the most important like belts rewards in European MMA. So I think that usually it means when you become a champion, it's like actually one option where to go.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, like Cage Warriors, like you were saying, great champions coming out. They even like recently Tom Aspinall doing what he did as in UFC, and like he came through Cage Warriors as well. You have obviously did known Conor McGregor. Silver came out Cage Warrior. I think Bisping was out of there as well. Like Paddy. Like there's so many like fighters that have made their name going through the Cage Warriors side of things, and that's the if that's where your vision is at and that's where you want to go to, that's the main option you have now. Obviously, I'm sure like there's other promotions that will get you there, but I know KJOS could get me there, and I know the division I'm in wise, like I cannot get that belt without being one of the best. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, this one is not that good. Like I know everyone in there is solid. So once I take them all out, I know that yes, I'm the king of the mountain now. So like, and I did that. It wasn't just me talking about it. I went through tough fights. I went through like great fighters to get to where I am. And once I do that, then that gives me an extra level of confidence moving on to the UFC. And then doing it again, just going through all of them. Like it's a vision. It's a plan for the next 5, 6, 7 years, and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like I'm excited. Like I have that. Boom! I have that on the wall, and I'm like, okay, let's try to get there. Let's see what hurdles is along the way. Let's see what challenges comes at me along the way, and then get past it, get past it, get past it, and get to where I want to go to.
And do you have a fighter in the UFC? It's a kind of dream fight scenario. The fighter that you would like to face, just as the like concept.
Yeah, and I think you'll probably be looking at the champion himself, which featherweight was that's Volkanovski. I've actually over the last 2 days I've been watching all his fight back, and he's like such a solid fighter. Like he's so well rounded. He's good on the feet, on the ground, on the fence, wrestling, defense, wrestling, offense. Like he's so well rounded that that's what makes me want to be like, okay, I need to cover every single hole that I might have. Near impossible to do, but if that's the vision, then like that would make it so much more difficult for anyone to come at me. So I feel like if I could take him out, like don't really have much else to say. And like the featherweights in general, I think in most every promotion, like they're very good. So like Volk will be the one I'll be looking at now because obviously he's the champ. And then you have the guy is fighting as well is very good. I cannot remember his name. Or the Spanish guy. Oh, I
Ilya
can't believe I forgot
Topuria.
it. Yes. Ilya, like he's very good as well. So like, and then obviously Max Holloway as well, and then like there's a lot of great fighters in that featherweight division. Like most of them will probably be gone by the time I get there, but we'll see what their roster is at once I'm there. Then I'll be like, okay, who's next? But the if I feel like I'm the person I'm trying to beat in my head is the champion, which is Bo. So I'm trying to build my game to be able to beat him because if I feel like if I could take him out, there would be not many people that could like stand up against me, you know. So, but like I'll be trying to be better than that. Like, you know, like I'm trying to be perfect. Like I want to be a point where you can't touch me at all. That obviously, if I'm being realistic, I know that's like near impossible to do, but that's where I'm aiming for. So let's see what happens.
There are like two very important fights in featherweight division in next few months. It will be Volkanovski against Topuria, and also Arnold Allen against Movsar Evloev. So, what do you think about these fights?
The Volkanovski to Poirier, like I find it difficult to bet against Volk, like especially in featherweight. Obviously, like with the Islam fight, you could see so like, and then the size difference, and even at that, he still did very well. The last one, couple of weeks notice, and like it is what it is. But it's very difficult to bet against Volk because he's so solid everywhere and he's smart. He's not like he doesn't just go out there and just fight and then expect whatever happens to happen. Like he's very tactical with his approach. Like he breaks you down slowly, which is like that. It's difficult to do that. Which because whatever skill you come up against him, like he's just gonna adapt to you in that moment. So I will still be betting on Volk, but Ilya as well. From watching his fights, like he's just a bulldozer. Like as an yeah, and he has power in his hands. Like so, like he's very threatening. But I don't know if he will be able to close. He'll be able to close it down with Volk because he's just too smart. So that's how I look at that. The Arnold Allen, I'll be honest, I haven't watched much of Allen or the other guy as well. So like I can't really say much on that. But from what I've seen on Arnold Allen, his back is wide as fuck. It's very big. Like so like and it looked good in the little bits I've seen. So but I don't want to speak on it too much because I'm not too sure. But the fact that he is on this side of the world, I'm gonna pick him anyway.
Yes. Actually, there are a few like European fighters in like top 10 featherweights, like all three: Topuria, Allen, Evloev. So I think that it means that the like European scene is going up, and they are like chasing the best fighter because usually it was either like fighters from US or Brazil, and now the
Yeah.
like there is a little bit like European takeover.
For sure, and it's really nice to see because then because at the start you'd be like, oh, you have to go to America to like to like get the best rounds. You have to go to America to actually make something out of it or whatever. But like we've seen great fighters come out of Europe, we've seen great fighters come out of Ireland, and like you're like, okay, yeah, so you could do all of that in this side of the world. Like England, like if I want to like go train in England, I'm sure like there'll be a few gyms I could go to and get the good work in there as well. So it's nice to see that this side of the world is also making names for themselves.
And also, I have a few questions outside of world of MMA. Do you have a bucket list, and can you share like one thing from the bucket list, the list that things of you want to do accomplished in your life?
Yeah, I say everything like a lot of times now is fairly uh blinded with the focus on the whole MMA side of things. Like my main thing for myself overall is I'm just looking for freedom. Like I'm looking to have the option to make whatever decision I want on my terms. Like I don't want to be answering to anybody. I don't want to be limited by what someone tells me to do or can't do. Like I want to be able to have control over my own life. Like and have control over the life of my family as well. Like I have my fiance. and like hopefully we're trying to try and make this family bigger as well. I want to like have the best, provide the best life I can for my family, and that's what I'm looking for. The MMA is a path to get towards that, but I'm also looking in other ways as well to do that as well. So I'll say the biggest thing in my mind, the biggest goal I have for myself is just freedom. I'm chasing freedom. I don't want to be limited. I don't want to be tied down by anyone else. I want to be the one that makes a decision in my life. I want to be the leader, the driver in my stories, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yes, I think that it's important thing to call your shots in the end of the day, not to being like only employee, but have like the bigger picture and more stuff than just let's say fighting.
For sure, yes, for sure.
And in your free time, what do you like to do? What you like to like spend your time on?
Yeah, like there's not much. I've been honest. Like I think I work full time as well, and then between that and training, and then what I'll do then is spend time with my fiance. Like when in the if it's the weekend, if we go out for a bit and like just try explore different part. Like she's very into nature, so like and that got me into nature. So it's like going for walks in the forest, going for walks on the beach, that kind of thing, just to like reset the mind and things. But I'll like that'll be the main things. I'll be honest with you. I like there's so much time, or most of my time is consumed with like rather training, work, or watching fights, or like watching tutorials on fights and things that like that's all I know really. So I think for at least for the next 7 years at least, like that would be all it is, you know. So unless if I don't have to work anymore, that will free up a little bit more time, and then I might try to take up a bit more hobbies because I would like to be able to go hunting and shit like that. Because I'm listening to like Joe Rogan talk about going to the forest and like bow hunting and shit, and like that sounds fun to me, but I don't even have time to pick that up. Even my coach Andy Ryan, I think he does hunting as well. So like if I have more time, I might actually that might be something. I might have a chat with him and be like, "All right, bring me out hunting sometime."
Yes, so maybe after you will not have a like full-time job, you will be only training. The like there will be a space to like to go hunting.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. Yeah, hopefully in the next couple of years that happens. I just take the full-time job out of it, and then I'll be like, okay, now we have more time for ourselves.
And also about Joe Rogan, do you like to listen podcasts either MMA or non-MMA related?
Yeah, nah, like I would listen to podcasts a good bit, audiobooks as well. Like definitely obviously Joe Rogan will be the ones there. You have the Huberman Lab as well, just for those kind of knowledge. Like actually there's these guys as well, Shits and Gigs. Like I've been listening to them a lot lately. Like it's just like a comedy kind of thing. And like but a lot of it is rather like sciencey philosophy, if it's like nutrition, like there's like the model health show, like there's so many, there's just so much knowledge out there like that. I'm constantly trying to chase different things. I'm like trying to learn from so many different people, learn from so many different places. Like there's this other one, fighter performance, like they talk about weight cutting and fighters nutrition and things like that as well. Like there's so much knowledge out there that you don't need, like you don't have to spend as much money trying to find so much information because like it's out there for free if you're willing to look for it. So I'm definitely I would listen to a good bit of podcast, and like when I find new ones I would like binge it for a while and just try learn. That's all it is. Just gain, put more things in the knowledge bank, and then see how it could help me in the MMA side of things or in life in general.
I agree. There are so many good podcasts, but about Huberman Lab, it's like it's very good, but there is so much knowledge that you need to like stop and make notes.
Yes, for sure. It's like a lecture. Like literally, you're here. Oh, did he say that? Like, okay, take your ice bath. Take do the heat. Like, there's just so many things, and like you definitely have to like write it down to be able to keep it in. But like when I'm doing travels, like if I'm commuting from Waterford to Dublin for training and stuff, that's when I just throw it on and I'm just like listening away. I take the little bits that I can, and then like sometimes you go over it again and be like, okay, this is important. This is important. But nah, for sure, there's so many.
And last one question: when in your life do you feel the most alive?
Alive. Say That's interesting. Like, is the like I feel the most present. I suppose that's what I would say with being alive. Like when I'm in training and things like that. Like, cause like I have no or in training or rather if it's fighting. Like, cause I don't have the option of like the outside distraction. I'm like I can only be in that moment as best as I can. So like if I'm taking alive as being like embracing life as much as possible. Like the only point is like when I'm in that moment, when I'm in life itself, when I'm seeing life as what it is, and I'm not too busy thinking about the future or too busy worrying about the past. So every time I'm present will be when I feel most alive. So and the situations I felt like that would be times where like me and my fiance will be talking for hours on whatever topic it may be, and we're just talking away, and like I just feel completely present. I feel in engage in that moment. And when I'm fighting as well, like I feel like that's all that matters at that point as well. When we go for walks, like same thing. Every time like I'm able to ground myself, every time I'm able to bring myself to the present moment, because I'm fairly bad in the sense of like my head, I'm constantly always trying to make plans and do this and do that. So like my fiance will be one that brings me back to the moment a lot in regards to like when we talk about different things or when we're going for walks, she forces me to be right here that we're rather than being like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And then when I'm fighting or when I'm training, I have no option but to do that because if I don't, I'm just gonna get the shit kicked out of me. So those would be the moments I'll say like that'll be the most time I'll say I'll feel alive. I'll say like I'll feel present.
Yes, like you said, in MMA fight, it's no other option because it can like have a very bad consequences if you will think about some next steps or some next plan.
Yes, for sure. Like you don't and the higher the level goes, the more the consequences, the more dangerous it gets. You know, the less like in the amateur side or whatever, you're like, okay, you could switch up for a little bit, and you miss it. Right now, you switch off, like you literally your light gets turned out. So we don't want that.
Okay, Solomon. So many thanks for the conversation. I hope that you will be fighting in the Cage Warriors next in your next few fights, and then maybe in like 2-3 years we can see you in the UFC. Maybe some Dublin card or European card.
Amen to that. That's the vision. That's the plan. Let's go get it.